Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today I'm going to be telling you the 26 books that I want to read in 2026. Clearly I have my work cut out for me because if you have been on this channel for a little bit of time, you'll know that I just posted my 30 books I want to read before I'm 30. And to be honest with you, I have not read any of those books yet, and it's been about a month, so yikes. I have a very big physical TBR that I would like to, move more through. And so today I'm going to be telling you 26 books that are exclusively on my physical TBR that I want to read in the year of 2026. So if you like these kind of videos, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I am posting a video every single day in the month of December, and I do primarily crochet and reading content. Let's hop in. So the first book I have here is Charles Bukowski, The Last Night of the Earth Poems. I honestly have no idea what this is about. I bought this many years ago when I was in Chicago for a work trip. And I saw this at a bookstore and I was like, oh, this seems really interesting. I have heard some not so great things about Charles Bukowski since buying this, but I already have it, so I might as well read it. I think he also wrote, Love is a Dog from Hell poems. There is no blurb on the back that tells me what these poems are about. I guess it's in like parts, so part 1 says, my wrists are rivers, my fingers are words. My guess is it might be about existentialism. I don't really know. All I know is that they're poems, and I'm a little intimidated by it, but I think we just gotta do it. Next two I'm actually going to do together. These are both by E.L. James. This is Darker and Freed. Yes, these are the two final books of like the 50 Shades of Grey from Christian's perspective. And I don't know why. I bought these when I was in college as they were coming out because I was like, oh, I really liked 50 Shades of Grey when I was 19, so it's almost 10 years ago, because that's what got me back into reading when I was in college. Oh my god, I feel so silly saying that, but I read Ray, which is the first book, and then I have, obviously these final two, and I just need to finish it so then I can truly decide whether or not I'm going to keep these books or not. I remember reading, I think I was like halfway through Darker, and I had to DNF it. I was like, I can't do this. We are going to finish the 50 Shades of Grey books in 2026. Next is a book that I actually just recently hauled, but I'm so excited to read it. This is Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yambao. It's about a woman who is going on a journey trying to find her father and a bunch of things from her pawn shop that were stolen, and I believe she's doing it with a gentleman. This was actually in the like cozy fantasy fiction section of Books A Million when I was there recently, and I was like, oh, interesting cozy. I could be down for some cozy right now. Next is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This is the next book that I have to read in the Throne of Glass series. And honestly, if this one doesn't go well, I'm getting rid of all my Throne of Glass books because I'm so over it at this point. I hated Heir of Fire, and after this is the tandem read, and then I know Kingdom of Ash is like 1,000 pages long. And to be honest with you, a lot of Sarah J. Maas's writing, yes, it's easily accessible fantasy, so I don't want to like poo-poo on it too much, but I've just realized I don't like her writing all that much. She writes these thick books where nothing happens until like here, and I don't like that. I don't like the way that works. This is gonna be the final chance. If I am intrigued enough, I will do the tandem read, but this is your last shot, honey. And then I might have to get rid of Crescent City too because I have that book, and I'm just gonna be like, no, I can't do Sarah J. Maas anymore. I'll keep my ACOTAR books, but like. Next is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I do feel like this is going to be my book by R.F. Kuang. I just read Yellowface last month and I loved it. I loved Yellowface. But I also read Catabasis, and I didn't like Catabasis that much. I don't know why. I think the storyline just really wasn't for me. It's not that it was a bad book by any means. I am really excited. This one is, I believe they are linguists at Oxford University. The prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, also known as Babel. And I believe this one talks a lot about colonialism. So I'm really excited to get into this one. I feel like you know, everyone who reads it really, really likes it. I know that R.F. Kuang is really polarizing for some reason, but you know, I've had this for a while. Time to read it. Next is Heartbroken, Field Notes on a Constant Condition by Laura Pratt. This I bought actually when I was thinking of leaving my ex. Oh my god, that's how you know that you just need to be done. If you start, like, I bought a How to Get Over Your Breakup workbook. That's how bad I was when I left my ex. Oh my god. But so I bought this, and I haven't been heartbroken for a while. The thing is that there are different types of heartbroken. When people pass away, when, you know, obviously breakups, when friendships end. So I think that there's still value in this. I want to see what value this holds for me in my life right now. Essentially, Laura Pratt is going through her own breakup, and she starts interviewing people about their relationship to heartbreak in whatever context that means. So I think it'll be really interesting regardless. The Office of Historical Corrections by Danielle Evans. This is also a really recently hauled book. These are short stories on the subjects of race in U.S. history. Evans considers how and why some people choose to confront history and why others outrun it. I think that this will really help me understand some people right now. I don't understand how some people can't look things in the eyes, but I'm really excited. This came really highly recommended by a good friend of mine. Next is The Poet X by Elizabeth Ace Vito. This was also a book that I recently hauled. This is a novel in verse, and we have our main character, Xiomara Batista, who joins her school's slam poetry club, and she wants to be able to kind of speak her mind, but she's worried about familial repercussions for doing so. Next is How to Read a Book, The Classic Guide to Intelligent Reading by Mortimer J. Alder and Charles Van Doren. So this is basically how to read critically. I know that I get too into my rabbit holes, and I get so opinionated, and we always think our opinions are right. Nobody is safe from those thought processes. But I think especially as I plan on taking English classes at the college level for my graduate degree, I need to take a chill pill and read something like this, and I think that this will help me with my reading and my understanding of reading and why things are written and how we can't just discount entire things. Next is Fast Food Nation, The Dark Side of the All-American Meal by Eric Schlosser. Also a book that I recently hauled. I feel like a lot of these are pretty, so we have like a mix of new and old books. I picked books that I knew I wanted to read kind of ASAP. So this kind of talks about the intersection between fast food and socioeconomic statuses, which I think will be really, really interesting. I've heard many things about this book, so I think I need to read it. Next is How to Be Anti-Racist by Abram X. Kendi. I do think that this book is pretty self-explanatory. The little quote on the flap says, "The only way to undo racism is to consistently identify and describe it and then dismantle it." I've read many books about race and racism and the history of things, but I think I need a book that tells me kind of how to help more, how to be a better ally, and I think that this will be the one. Next is Kamala Harris's The Truths We Hold: An American Journey. I read 107 Days by Kamala Harris, and I really, really loved the book, so I'm really excited. This is more of her memoir, I believe, and specifically Kamala Harris's relationship to social justice and civil rights. So it says, "Now in The Truths We Hold, she reckons with the big challenges we face together, drawing on hard-won wisdom and insight from her own career and the work of those who have most inspired her. She communicates a vision of shared struggle, shared purpose, and shared values as we confront the great work of our day." Next is Guns, Germs, and Steel: The Fates of Human Societies by Jared Diamond. Winner of the Pulitzer Prize. I really wonder what that actually means, because I feel like some Pulitzer Prize winning books are really not that good, which is not the best introduction for me to say for this book. It's basically a book about like human history and just different societies. I think, gosh, I'm having a hard time explaining what this book is about. I do and I don't know at the same time. I follow a woman who said that this was a really good way to microdose liberalism for your dad. And I have this and his other book Collapse, and I'm thinking like I want to read this and then maybe give it to my grandpa. I know that there are some problematic things in this book, but we all got to start somewhere. But before I hand this off to somebody, I need to read it myself. And I feel like I'm not going to agree with everything in here, but it is important to read things that I don't entirely agree with. So that is why this book is on here. Next is We Are Proud Boys, How a Right-Wing Street Gang Ushered in a New Era of American Extremism by Andy Campbell. I saw this at Barnes & Noble a couple years ago, and I had to have it. I paid $30 for this. Oh my god. And I don't know what it was. I just was like, I need to have it. I couldn't find this at my library, and I couldn't find it on like Kindle Unlimited or anything, which is why I bought the book brand new. It says a gripping investigation into the nation's most notorious far-right group, offering a new and urgent telling of how violence and extremism took over American politics. So this was published in 2022, and I honestly wonder if it's already outdated based on our current climate. But I think just learning more about this, you gotta know your enemy, right? Next is The Grimm's Fairy Tales. This is a Barnes & Noble classic. I bought this for $3 at Half Price Books, and I feel like I need to know more of these fairy tales. I originally bought this for help with storytelling, but I think in general we talk about Grimm's Fairy Tales a lot, but I don't really know a ton about it. I know that each one, they're all pretty short. Like, the table of contents is actually quite long because each one is only like, looks like we average from around 3 to 6 pages. So honestly, this would be really nice to just like take it, knock one out every day, and just slowly get through this book. Next is Everything I Need I Get From You, How Fangirls Created the Internet as We Know It by Caitlin Tiffany. I got this in Chicago a couple years ago as well, and this is about fan culture and the creation of Pinterest and I believe a little bit of Tumblr, and essentially it is in defense of fangirls and how important they are to shaping trends. I feel like young women get poo-pooed on all the time for things, and I feel like a book like this will help give me a few more tools in my arsenal for defending why I love Twilight and girls' rights to gush over boy bands. Next is Evicted by Matthew Desmond. This is a winner of the Pulitzer Prize too, but I've read one of Desmond's books, and it was really, really, really good. He wrote Poverty by America, which is one of my favorite books of this year, and this one is a little bit more story-based. So this is when Desmond is following 8 families in Milwaukee as they struggle to keep a roof over their heads. And one thing I like about Matthew Desmond is he is really good, at least in poverty. The whole point of that is like poverty is a governmental failing, a societal failing, not a personal failing, as we have been taught in our hyper-individualistic capitalist society. So I'm really excited to read this book. I feel like I should have been reading it sooner, but I feel like this might also be a challenging read for me, emotionally. Next is Justice, What's the Right Thing to Do by Michael J. Sandel, and this one talks about ethics. On the back it says, he helps us think our way through such hotly contested issues as Wall Street bailouts, immigration, the role of markets, national service, affirmative action, same-sex marriage, and the place of religion in politics, as well as the personal ethical questions we confront in our everyday lives. Justice invites readers of all ages and political persuasions on a fascinating journey of moral reflection and shows how reasoned debate can illuminate democratic life. I do wonder how people can kind of do the mental gymnastics, and I think that learning a little bit about ethics will help me in that. Next is Common Sense by Thomas Paine. This is just a foundational American text that helped kind of drive forward the colonies to wanting to secede from Britain. So this came out 6 months before the Declaration of Independence. I need to read it. Plus, it's so tiny. Why not read it? Why not read a foundational American text? The fact that we don't read this is crazy. Next is Seneca, Letters from a Stoic. I had a student come in and talk about how much philosophy that he had read, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like 17 and I'm 28 and I haven't read any philosophy. So I feel like I'm trying to play a little bit of catch up, and I do need to learn more about what Stoicism actually is, because I feel like the pop culture definition of what stoicism is not correct. It might be in some ways, but probably not in others. Like, on the whole, it's probably not entirely 100% correct. Next is Soren Kierkegaard, The Sickness Unto Death. This is basically despair and existentialism, and I am a little worried about myself reading this in the wintertime, but I do think that I think that it will give me exactly what I need, and that is my sad boy winter. Next is Wallace Stenger and Paige Stenger, American Places, and essentially this is about how American people interact with the American land. It's not a travel guide. It's not like you need to go here, even though it says in the introduction that it could come off that way a little bit. I think that this would be a perfect road trip read. I don't know if I'm going on a road trip in 2026. Maybe I have to go on a road trip in 2026. Like, I just imagine myself going into a field and reading this, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because we got, like, kind of the Grand Canyon on there, but something about it, I just feel like I gotta go in the country and read it. Next is William S. Burroughs, Queer. This is one of the Penguin modern classics, and this is an autobiographical self-portrait and a coruscating political novel. Burroughs' only realist love story in a comic, grotesque fantasy that paved way for his masterpiece Naked Lunch. So clearly I'm gonna have to read Naked Lunch after this. But I know that from reading, like, the first page, this takes place in around Arizona and that it is scorching, like, hot. So I think this would be a really good summer novel as well. Plus, I love gay things. As a queer person myself, obviously I gotta read the queer book. Next is Samuel Butler's Erewhon, Not the Grocery Store. And this is about a utopian society. The thought is morality is flipped upside down. Here, crime is treated indulgently as a malady to be cured, while illness, poverty, and misfortune are cruelly punished, and all machines have been superstitiously destroyed after a bizarre prophecy. So I think that this one will be really, really interesting in terms of a utopian society book. I love a utopian society. And then this is going to be my tome for the year, The Divine Comedy, The Inferno, The Purgatorio, and The Paradiso by Dante Alighieri. This one is translated by John Ciardi. I have a friend whose favorite book of all time is The Divine Comedy, and I just feel like I need to read it. I did try one time, and it was really difficult because I had the audiobook, but then I was trying to read it like on my phone. I didn't have a physical book. I also, because it is a translated work and there are so many different translations, sometimes reading or listening to the audiobook while reading the physical book can be difficult as well, because there are certain word changes and you have to figure them out in your brain how everything works. At least that's what happened to me. So in here we have a like how to read Dante and a translator's note and probably an introduction as well. So I think that this will be a really good companion to the fact that I read Paradise Lost this year. I love how floppy this is. I need to know whether or not I like it because I saw the most beautiful edition at Books A Million and I was like, oh, I might want that, but I'm not going to buy a second edition if I don't even know that I like this one. And those are the 26 books that I want to read in 2026. Let me know in the comments below what books you want to read in 2026. And don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!